Hello children, a pleasant morning to all. In our previous classes, we learned about different states of matter, natural and synthetic fibers, and about different types of grains. In today's class, we are going to learn about household goods and sinking and floating. Household goods. The goods that are found in a house permanently are called household goods. What are household goods? The goods that are found in a house permanently are called household goods. These are the products that we buy and use within our homes. Household goods are furniture, kitchenware, clothes and towels, beddings, boots, and electronic goods. So children, household goods include home furnishings such as tables, chairs, beds, and wardrobes. Then kitchenwares such as pressure cooker, refrigerator, mixer grinder, stove, cutlery, oven, utensils, etc. Then clothes, towels, beddings, tools and equipments, and electronic goods such as DVD players, computer, television, air conditioner, washing machine, etc. These are the household goods used in the olden days, and these are the household goods that are used nowadays. Let's move on to our next topic, sinking and floating. To stay above the surface of the water, and sink means to go below the surface of the water. So what is float and sink? Float means to stay above the surface of the water, and sink means to go below the surface of the water. See the picture. Ball, candle, cork, pencil, eraser, all these materials float in the water, and the objects like rock, screw, key, ring, paper clip, all these materials sink in water. What causes things to float or sink? You might even think that bigger things sink and smaller things float. But it is not actually true. There are far more reasons behind the mystery of sinking and floating. So, why some things sink and some things float? Well, it's all about something called density. As we already learned, everything around us is made up of tiny molecules. In some objects, these molecules are jam-packed together, and in others, they are loosely packed. This is actually what density means. Density is a measure of mass per volume. Density is a measure of mass per volume. In other words, density is how close together the molecules of a substance are in a given space. What causes things to float or sink? If an object has a higher density than the liquid, it will sink. If an object has a lower density than the liquid, it will float. So, I'll repeat it children. If an object has a higher density than the liquid, it will sink. If an object has a lower density than the liquid, it will float. Thus, the shape of an object affects its ability to float. Yes, changing the object shape will also make its ability to float because it holds air and upthrust has more space to push the object. What is upthrust? When an object is immersed in a liquid, the liquid exerts an upward force on the object. It is known as upthrust. So what is upthrust? When an object is immersed into a liquid, the liquid exerts an upward force on the object. It is known as upthrust. It is a push that always goes straight up against the direction of gravity. This boat has gravity pulling it down and the upthrust of the water pushing up. Because the forces are balanced, the ship floats. Let's do an activity to understand about floating and sinking. Are you ready to see the activity, children? To do this activity, we need a bucket of water and some objects. So I have taken a empty plastic bottle, a coin, some marbles, a plastic ball, an apple, scissors and a spoon. What happens when I put a empty water bottle and a coin in the bucket of water? So you see, the empty water bottle floats and the coin sinks to the bottom of the bucket. The weight of the coin is greater than the upthrust and so the coin sinks. But the weight of the empty water bottle is less and so it floats. When I try to immerse this bottle, the water exerts an upward force on the bottle. This is known as upthrust. Let's try with the remaining objects. Let's take the apple. Okay, what happens when I drop an apple inside a bucket of water? Apple floats. So it shows that it is less dense than the water. Okay, what happens when I drop a scissor inside the bucket? It sinks. Scissors are made of metal and the metal is heavy, causing the scissors to sink. So what happens when I drop a spoon? So it is also made up of metal and it sinks. It shows that it is dense. It is denser than the water. I'll try with the marbles. Marbles also sinks because it is denser than the water. Plastic ball. So plastic ball, it floats. It shows that it is less dense than the water. So children, you are clear that if an object has a higher density than the liquid, it will sink, and if it has a lower density, it will float. Now you to go and take some objects from your home and try this activity. Thank you, children. Okay, children. Now let's have a small recap of what we learned today. The goods that are found in a house permanently are called household goods. Float means to stay above the surface of the water. Sink means to go below the surface of the water. Density is a measure of mass per volume. Upthrust is a force that pushes an object up in a liquid. Thank you.